seen. This book, when I first started reading the prologue, I was like, what am I reading? What, literally, like, looked at the back cover, was like, is this the right book? I felt like by the end of the second, I would say probably the second chapter, this book literally had me questioning my entire life. Like, there was vocab word after vocab word that I did not understand, and normally, like, I'm the type of person that in real life, IRL, if I don't know a vocab word when I'm reading, I will look it up, or I will actually write it down to look up later, you know, like your teachers would tell you to do in school. I couldn't do that because I was so overwhelmed with the just like overabundance of words. I had no idea, like, and I was a communications major, a public relations major in college. Okay, so like reading, writing, communicating is allegedly my strong suit, okay? I was so upset. I'm like, am I stupid? Like, it just felt so, like, so far above me, like over my head, that I was like, what else in my life do I think that I'm good at, but I'm actually not? Like, this book had me doing that, which was really off-putting. But I just remembered somebody's comment. They were like, girl, stick with it, it's not at all what you expect. And it ain't. That almost sounded like a bird. And for those of you germaphobes out there who are recognizing that this book has been around the block, I literally Lysol the heck out of it, so. Wicked. I will say that I'm really glad that this book's chapters so far are short. After the first few chapters, I was like, okay, now I feel like we're talking in normal people jargon here. Now, I remember a friend of mine reading this in high school, and she was like the class genius, right? Okay. But I would not recommend this book for, this is not a youth book. It's very, how do I put this? A lot of trips to Pound Town, okay? So definitely not something that you're reading with your kids at night before bed. But I am really intrigued by it. I've never seen Wicked, so I don't know the story. I feel like I have to let go of a lot of the details, like when they're explaining the different lands, like, I have to just let that go, because it's a lot to keep track of. I know you've never watched or read sci-fi before. Like, this is listed as a sci-fi fantasy, and I certainly never have. He was like, but all of the things that you're saying to me, I've heard on American Horror Story, basically. Which I obviously don't watch. Way too scary. Someone told me to read the book after this. Oh yeah. Preview of Son of a Witch on sale October 2005. So by the time I read that, it'll probably be 20 years later. Oh, that is so satisfying. It's actually very handy that this book is so worn in. This next book is Where Do I Begin by Elvis Duran. Duran. I'm sure it doesn't help that I'm covering his face. Elvis Duran. Stories I sort of remember from a life lived out loud. This book has a jacket on it, a sleeve, whatever you want to call it. We're gonna leave it on here because I think it sounds tingly, tingly, tingly. I read this book. This book came out in 2019, but I want to say that I read it in 2020. And if you don't know, Elvis, I would imagine most of you don't, but Elvis Duran is the host of the Elvis Duran morning show. And the reason that I know that morning show is because it is like, well, it's nationally syndicated now, but it originally played out of Z100, which is in New York City. So I literally grew up listening to Z100 and to the Elvis Duran morning show. I started listening when I was in high school. They've been on for like 25, 30 years, something insane. And, yeah, I started listening in high school because I had to get up really early. So I would put that on in the mornings. Elvis Duran. This morning show is like a part of the foundation of the relationship between me and my husband. He has also been listening for years, and I don't think he's missed an episode in, I want to say, 4 years. I love this morning show. I love Elvis. Danielle is my twin flame. I kid you not. us to meet, me and my husband, to meet the morning show. And I'll put in a picture of us. It was the best birthday of my entire life. I will never, ever, ever, ever forget it. Somewhat ironic is that the date that we went to go visit the morning show, Elvis was not there. He was at his other house in New Mexico.